Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of the CBL X's and O's podcast for season 2023. We've got Beck McIntyre out of the Horsham Hornets joining me again today as we preview what is going to be the spectacular and epic round 14 in the Southwest Conference. We've got teams battling it out to have a final top four position, potentially head-to-heads, potentially three-way ties. Results are going to play dividends on the finals series this season, Beck.
Yeah, look, it's crazy. You sit down and work out, 2 wins, 1 win, 3 wins, could be one-way, three-way ties. It's just, it's going to be a really interesting weekend.
Let's start off with the men. Saturday, Portland are hosting Terang at the Lighthouse, and it's a very important weekend for Portland. They win 2 games, they lock themselves into a top 4 finish. If they win 1, they're relying on other results, and potentially if they don't win any at all, they may miss a top 4 finish.
Yeah, look, I think this is what it all comes down to, doesn't it, this weekend, really? I think there's a few games next weekend, 2 games next weekend, obviously. But, for the ladder positions, then it's really do or die. So this is the time of the year that you have to step up. And this is what we all play for, I think, is these kind of scenarios. And generally the team that does step up, then, will end up, getting that run on into finals. So, look, I've got no doubt in my mind Portland will win this game against Terang. They've got a lot to play for, but as we've seen Terang shooting nearly 43 pointers in the last 2 games, I better make sure I talk to Hayden about covering that 3-point shot, because I think they're going to have to take that away if they're going to come out on top of Terang.
That's it. It's not an easy game for Portland. Terang have been, a really good competitor this year, and it's not going to be an easy walkover win for Portland on Saturday night. We then move our focus to the Ararat taking on Millicent game, and Millicent's in a very similar boat to Portland. They win 2 games, they lock themselves into a top 4 finish. They win 1, they're relying on results, and if they don't win any at all, pretty much bye-bye to the season. Your season's over.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've talked a lot about Millicent too, with the fact that there's a lot of their kids, they've got a lot of good kids that are in state teams, and there's a couple I saw on their Facebook that are heading to Albury this week. So good luck to everyone who has got players going to Albury. So, that, as we know, that can make a big difference in some of these teams, especially if those kids are, contributing and playing in the starting 5. So, look, I mean, again, it's not a walkout win for Millicent, especially traveling to Ararat. Ararat get a really big crowd, and look, they're going to have to be good to be able to come away with this, but I think that they'll all step up, hopefully, and they'll get the win in the end so that they can make that ladder very interesting.
The next game we look at is Colac taking on Mount Gambier. Now, as much as this isn't going to have any effect on who finishes and who doesn't finish in the top 4, it's actually potentially going to affect where Mount Gambier finish on the ladder. So Mount Gambier get 2 wins this weekend. They pretty much write themselves to a top 2 finish. However, if they lose 2 games, they're back in the pack with everyone else. If everyone else wins their 2 games, and we're talking about 3-4-way ties potentially if the results don't go the way Mount Gambier want them to go.
Yeah, look, I mean, Mount Gambier lose 2, Millicent win 2, Portland win 2, Warrnambool win 1. It's I think Warrnambool will drop out, but Horsham will end up on a 5-way tie or a 4-way tie for with Horsham, Portland, Millicent. All in the mix having there that could all end up in a tie. I don't know whether we would have seen that before. And Mount Gambier, so it could be literally a 4-way tie. They could all finish with 11 wins. So I wonder if that's ever happened before, where you've had 4 teams finish on the same wins.
We'd have to dig back into history a little bit to see if that's ever happened. The last game on Saturday night you talk about is Horsham hosting the Warrnambool Seahawks, and obviously Warrnambool need to get the win to tick that final box to give them that opportunity of playing finals. They get that 10th win on Saturday night. They really set themselves up. They do rely on some other results, but it gives them the best possible chance of finishing in that top 4 position.
Yeah, they definitely have to win. So, obviously relying on Portland and Millicent to lose at least 1 game, because then it would be a 3-way tie for 10 wins. So, but at the end of the day, it'll be what it'll be for them. This is their last game of the season, I think. So, they've got to win it. And if they don't, then they can probably pat themselves on the back for a great season as well, because they have, definitely got better as the season's gone on, and they've built, and they've managed to come out with some pretty good wins.
And then Sunday, Mount Gambier pull into Terang on the way home to take on the Tornadoes. And again, this isn't going to be an easy game for Mount Gambier. Terang have shown the form they're in currently, especially shooting that 3 ball. They could potentially be the ones to upset Mount Gambier and give them their 4th loss for the season.
Yeah, 100%. Like, especially coming off a Sunday game, legs are tired. It's the end of the season. It's a road trip for Mount Gambier. It's a big road trip. They've got to travel. So, if those boys come out and shoot 23s, which they've actually proven is quite, something that they could absolutely do. I think Mount Gambier, it definitely would be harder than what people will think. And it 100% won't be a write-off. Like, they will not be able to take them lightly, because Terang will come out winners if they do.
And Sunday, Portland have to travel up to Ararat to take on the Redbacks. And really, again, Portland need to make sure they take care of this game and get the win to really keep the finals hopes in their hands and not let it relinquish their grip into other results, which they did last year, and it hurt them in the long run.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot to play for these things, especially for teams not only to make the finals position, but to get the home final. Like, potentially that could still be up for grabs if it ends up with a 4-way tie. So, we know how much a home crowd makes a difference, especially in that first semi-final. So, I think there's going to be some ripping games of basketball this weekend across our conference. And yeah, I can't wait to see some of the results.
The last game in the men's is Horsham taking on Millicent. And like all the other games we've talked about, this one has a heavy effect on finals. The winner gets that one extra win in the winners column and pretty much solidifies their top 4 position and their position in the top 4. The loser, though, potentially drops them down some positions depending on how their Saturday night results go. In Millicent's case, it potentially pushes them out of finals.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, Horsham just have to win one to cement their second spot. So they are going to be after that, because, coming into a home grand final would be absolutely the best case scenario for any team, to have a home semi-final and then rock into a home grand final. So we know how fortunate we are in Horsham with the crowds. The community gets behind it. So, it's going to be a big weekend for Horsham. So win both really doesn't make a difference, but they have to win at least one. So then they'll finish on 12 wins and the other teams can't catch them for that second spot. So I have no doubt in my mind that Scotty will be coming out for that home final. They'll want that more than anything.
And then let's change our look into the women's. And Saturday night, the Colac Cookers take on Mount Gambier. And Mount Gambier need this win to give them the opportunity to finish in the top 4.
Yeah, look, it potentially could have been just really a game that didn't make too much of a difference if they hadn't have beaten Millicent last weekend. So the fact that they've been able to create that upset, this is a must win for them. So, having that ability to get the 4 points on here, then get that spot, that'll, put them in that hump, especially if Horsham, if we can beat Millicent on the Sunday. So yeah, massive game for Mount Gambier. And as we know, depending on who travels in their team, hopefully they've got their full team, because Colac is, again, not a team I would write off either.
And your team, the Horsham Hornets, take on the Warrnambool Mermaids Saturday night. A bit of an important game for you guys. If you can get the win Saturday night, it does take a lot of the pressure off Sunday's game. You would have locked your finals position in on the Saturday night, but Warrnambool are the team to beat at the moment. They are in form. They are shooting the lights out with the ball. It's going to be a tough task for you guys.
Yeah, look, absolutely. We have to win at least one, as we've talked about, to cement our final spot. So I know the girls are hungry for that. We just missed out in a very similar position last season. Last game had to win by this and do that. Like, it was so close again last season. So I know that's been our goal the whole year. That's been what we've focused on, is just to try and get ourselves back into finals. So we've got a lot to play for. We're expecting a really big crowd. I've got 100th game for our girls on Sunday, which is exciting. Caitlin Jones-Story, who has been a salute of our team, is going to be the first Lady Hornet ever in our history to play 100 games. So it's a really big thing for us, because we play so many less games. And unfortunately, prior to 2013, the association doesn't actually have any records, like, back in the days when I was playing with the Hellcats and things like that. So we've definitely had other players that have breached milestones, but unfortunately just don't have the record. So this is a really big one for us, and it's a really special occasion for Caitlin. So I think that emotion for the weekend will hopefully get what we need to. Look, Warrnambool are really good. They're amazing. I don't think our chances are probably that great on Saturday night. I think that if we're going to beat them, it'll probably be in a grand final if we manage to get there on our home crowd. That would probably be the only thing that would get us over the line because, I rate them really highly. But yeah, I think we're definitely looking towards that Sunday game as we probably kind of head into that now against Millicent. That's the one we have to win. And with Caitlin playing a 100th game and a home crowd, hopefully that'll be what we need to get us over the line and secure that final spot.
That's it. Sunday's game, Horsham take on Millicent in Horsham. It's Millicent's last chance to get that win. They need the win to make the top four. And potentially, depending on how the results go Saturday night, your team, Horsham, need the win to really solidify that top four position as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, and it'll be a great weekend of basketball. Again, there's a lot riding on each game, so it's kind of like playing a finals every weekend. So yeah, we're looking forward to having the Hornets desk packed out and having some great basketball on display. So we'll have our live stream running. So if anyone wants to join or tune in, make sure you jump onto the Horsham Basketball Facebook page.
That's it. That's the round 14 preview for the Southwest Conference. Looking forward to seeing all our spectators and fans in the stands this weekend on what is going to be a spectacular and epic round of basketball in the Southwest. So I'll catch you next week when we get to review and have some more understanding of how the finals may look after this round. And just want to say good luck to all players and coaches and officials this weekend.